The Last of Us has been in the public limelight quite prominently recently with the launch of the Last of Us HBO show, which for the most part has been received very positively. Unfortunately, the same couldn't be said about the recently launched The Last of Us Part 1 PC port, to the point where Naughty Dog had to put out this message to players: The Last of Us Part 1 PC players, we've heard your concerns, and our team is actively investigating multiple issues you have reported. We'll continue to update you, but our team is prioritizing updates and will address issues in upcoming patches. This is a damn shame because The Last of Us for the longest time has been a PlayStation exclusive, and to see this universally acclaimed game come out on PC was definitely a positive, except those who did buy the game ended up getting a port that is just in an unacceptable state that performs poorly enough that it is just not tenable. And right here you can see that as a result of the technical issues, the game is sitting at a 33% mostly negative review score on Steam from user reviews from people who checked the game out. And scrolling down and reading through the reviews will reveal what kinds of problems people are facing on a widespread level. So here's somebody saying, another shoddy port by Iron Galaxy of Batman Arkham Knight and UC Collection, I believe that's Uncharted Collection, with absolutely awful HW utilization, more CPU bound than most RTS games, stuttery mouse camera movement, same issue from Uncharted Collection, lack of screen dirt effects, setting toggle, and general lack of optimization. Iron Galaxy, for those who don't know, is a development studio that does a lot of contract work for larger developers and larger games, and they've worked on these kinds of titles. Most recently, though, they did help work on Metroid Prime Remastered, which was just really well done and runs super well, but The Last of Us Part 1 is just the antithesis of that. It just runs poorly, the shader loading is really bad, the performance issues, the graphics issues, the bugs, all of that stuff will be further extrapolated on in other Steam reviews, like this one right here that calls the game Crash Simulator, because as of the last update of this review, the crash counter for this player is sitting at 14, and you can see right here a detailed breakdown of the kinds of crashes that have happened. And this is not the only player who's been facing this issue. Here's somebody else who's also reporting frequent crashes every 20 minutes, says this player. Game is badly optimized, game looks great, just needs to be better optimized. Performance issues are also prominently highlighted among user reviews. Somebody jokingly called this game the last VRAM of us because of the way it utilizes way too much VRAM in a way that shows it's not well optimized. Here's somebody else reporting that the game crashes a lot, unplayable, runs like crap, single worst PC port I've ever seen. And this user in particular expresses disappointment in waiting so long for the game to get a PC port, avoiding spoilers and everything, because they wanted to experience this game when it comes to their platform of choice, only to get a port like this. And here's one last review for good measure, talking about the terrible optimization and the way the game takes up more than 8 gigs of VRAM on medium settings, 100% CPU utilization and menu, and the temps are really high too, probably going to refund soon. This is especially bad optics because The Last of Us Part 1's PC port was actually delayed at one point. It was initially supposed to come out on March 3rd, but it was delayed by a couple of weeks to March 28th till today as of the recording of this video. They explained that the reason for this delay was because they wanted to make sure that The Last of Us Part 1 PC debut is in the best shape possible. These additional few weeks will allow us to ensure this version of The Last of Us lives up to your and our standards. Unfortunately for PC players, this has not been the case. Quality standards have not been met. And it's not just on Steam we're seeing this kind of feedback. On the official Last of Us subreddit, we're seeing people posting things like very disappointed that Naughty Dog let Iron Galaxy handle the port. Here we have a screenshot showing the kinds of graphical issues that people are facing. New The Last of Us PC graphics, said this user right here, who already has over 1.1 thousand upvotes as of the publishing of this post 6 hours ago. You can see right here everything about this looks wrong, especially Sarah's hair. Oh, baby squirrel jokes this comment. Here's somebody else sarcastically posting, The Last of Us Part 1 PC is a flawless masterpiece. And you can see down here rather unfortunate graphical glitch. Here are folks who feel like they shot themselves in the foot by waiting for the PC port of The Last of Us Part 1 instead of just getting on the PlayStation 5, having to play it at 30 FPS, a result of the game performing so poorly even at lower graphic settings that people are just not able to get stable frames per second. Some people are trying to figure out why these issues are happening, and here's a Reddit post that takes information that they found from another forum that states that the developers/porters developers used a bugged release of the UDL decompression library 2.9.6, which has confirmed memory leaking issues. And so by installing the 2.9.5 version of the software, apparently this player was able to get greatly improved performance. Though this Reddit user warns that this solution's mileage may vary from user to user and that this isn't guaranteed to fix your exact issues. For example, one thing that this potential solution will likely not fix is issues surrounding mouse input, where moving the camera around with the mouse is jittery and really sucks. Here's another Reddit post that put it bluntly: I do not recommend getting the game for PC right now. The game is horribly optimized, and talks about all of the stuttering issues that they've been experiencing. And this is not just something that's happening to lower end or medium end PCs. Even high-end PCs are experiencing performance issues. Now, for some who do have high-end PCs like this configuration right here, they're actually getting decent frames, 60 to 100 FPS, but they're experiencing crash issues. For this specific user right here, they've seen the game crash 7 times. It seems like anytime I enter a new area, it crashes. And then beyond that, we're seeing bugs in the PC version of the game that I have never seen in the PS5 version of The Last of Us Part 1, like this bug right here where Tess just spazzes out, which is kind of funny, but considering all of the issues surrounding Part 1 to the point where for some people it's unplayable, some people are not amused by the state of this game, even if it creates funny situations like this. There's a video version of that bug where Tess is just T-posing and spazzing out in place. So, yeah. Now, speaking of shader compilation, some games require you to build shaders before launching the game when you boot up the game for the first time. For The Last of Us Part 1, this process just takes a very long time. In fact, looking at Steam reviews, you can see a number of people who have reported the same problem. Building shaders for almost 2 hours now, says this user, crashes in main menu while building shaders every 5 minutes or so. And then for some, after having completed the process of building shaders, they experienced the problem where they were stuck in loading screens. An issue that was also reported by the Steam reviewer who posted Crash Simulator here with a crash counter 14. Below that is loading screen simulator, please wait, So yeah, the culmination of all of this is that you've got a number of people both on Steam and on Reddit calling this the single worst PC port I've ever seen. This Reddit post echoes that sentiment by calling this the worst PC port I've seen in a long time. And this is somebody with a pretty good PC configuration that should be able to handle The Last of Us Part 1 at higher frame rates than 30 FPS with DLSS balance and graphic settings at medium. It's really a damn shame that people playing this game for the first time, now that the game has finally come on PC, are greeted with this kind of experience. Not to mention they paid full price for this game, $60 instead of the $70 on the PlayStation Store. At least that's $10 cheaper than the PS5 version for some reason. But even at $60, this game is certainly not worth the price point in the current state. And not to mention that this is the 4th time the game is releasing now. The Last of Us, then The Last of Us Remastered, then The Last of Us Part 1, then The Last of Us on PC. And to see the game in its worst state by its 4th release is kind of bizarre. I understand that there are complexities to porting something over to PC, but they really should have made sure that the game met the quality standards that they claimed they were aiming to meet by delaying the game to March 28th. It looks like they needed to delay this game a little longer. A couple days ago, the game was also verified by Valve as compatible with the Steam Deck, suggesting that the game runs well on the console. But you can imagine that if the game doesn't run well on powerful PCs, then it certainly won't run well on the Steam Deck, and it's going to have very similar issues, if not worse issues, given the more limited power of the Steam Deck. And you can see right here somebody presenting how the game performs on the Steam Deck when issues hit, when the game is at its worst. Steam Deck rebooted here, so apparently there was an issue during the loading screen, and then after booting into the game, you can see just the kinds of stutters that make this experience less than tenable. Yeah, that's pretty bad. And they're mixed, just generally mixed results throughout the course of this video that shows gameplay of The Last of Us. Right here, you can see the frame rate is not great at all. You don't want to play this game on the Steam Deck. Hopefully, with future patches, this will all be smoothed over, and it'll become a lot more playable across all kinds of PCs, and hopefully Steam Deck will be able to handle a patched version of this title. In the meantime, though, don't get this game. Just wait until we hear from Naughty Dog about patches that hopefully fix all of this. We have seen PlayStation games that had some issues at launch be smoothed out over time. it doesn't excuse that this is the launch date of the game. You know, the release date is March 28th, and people want to play this game on day one, and there's nothing worse than essentially opening up a Christmas gift that you have to wait a few more days or a few more weeks or a few more months, who knows, until it can function. Especially when it's something you were so excited about. So many people were happy to see The Last of Us Part 1 come to PC because all the PlayStation users have been singing praises about it, and them diving in to discover that the game is unplayable in many ways or just compromised in severe ways is, yeah, I can only imagine how disheartening that must be. So yeah, the sooner Naughty Dog and company can fix these issues, the better. Sony, PlayStation, Naughty Dog no doubt wanted to capitalize on the buzz that The Last of Us show has generated to sell more PC copies, but with word spreading about the poor state of it, that's going to negatively impact the game's ability to reach its full sales potential during its launch period when the iron's hot. But yeah, there you have it, folks. This is everything you need to know about the current state of The Last of Us Part 1 on PC. It's not in good shape. Do not buy right now. Wait for the patches to come out and for people who own the game to report back. Until that happens, let me know in the comments below what your thoughts and opinions are on all of this and whether you are planning to get The Last of Us Part 1 on PC. And if you've gotten it already, have you experienced these issues that are being widely reported? What kinds of problems have you had with the game, or has it been a smooth ride for you? Share your thoughts and experiences in the comments below, and to be further updated on all things gaming news, reviews, and discussions, stay tuned right here on Young Yeah. I'll see you guys next time. Young out.